Final ones, we've got the Junior Stock, JSM 140, Mini GP 140 and 110, and now the next bikes to go on circuit. The clouds are looking very ominous. There's lots of dark clouds in the sky, and it looks like they are coming this way, and it does look like it is raining off in the distance. So this could be the next couple of interesting races, just to see what happens. So riders are currently on their way out. Obviously, this is our smallest grid on the circuit. You've got your 4 riders, so you've got Ronald Harris starting in first position with Thomas Gomez in second, Rhys Stevenson in third place, and Stephen Brooks in fourth. Lucas Brown in fifth, but no time and a no show. So just the 4 riders. So they are in the pit lane at the moment. They will be making their way out. Be interesting to see the tyre choices they've gone for, purely because if that rain hits during this race and someone's on wets, they're going to get a win on this one.
Yeah, I mean, for all 4 of the riders on this one, it's kind of low pressure. This is actually more of an indication for everybody else.
Yes.
They need to watch this race and figure out what's going to happen over the course of the proceedings. Because when it's a 4-bike race, you don't want to push too hard when the conditions are changeable. It's about staying in the fight. It's survival of the fittest, if you like. The ones that are actually going to have a bit more of an advantage here are going to be Rhys Stevenson and Stephen Brooks. They're actually going to have the advantage in terms of the battle. So I think the Metro kit is not going to be as suited to the wet conditions changing as much as the Junior Superminis are. So technically for Rhys and for Stephen, this is actually going to be a stronger race if the rain does come right in the middle of the race, because those bikes are more adaptable in the wet conditions. The Metro kit bikes, once they are in the wet condition setup, then they're fine, but in changeable conditions, they're the ones that are actually going to be a little more ragged. So this is almost Rhys and Stephen praying for rain, because they have an opportunity to win overall here. But with Ronnie Harris and Tom Gomez on that front of the grid, keep an eye on Ronnie. He'll want to get a much better start than he got the first time around. Over 1 lap, he was faster than Thomas Gomez in qualifying. He's now going to want to do it in the race itself. But this could be an interesting one, and for every other rider in the paddock, this is all about what happens next. It
is indeed. As the green flag goes up, they wave down again. It's another lightning start from the number 98 of Thomas Gomez. Absolutely flyer off the line, but Rhys Stevenson has managed to keep up with him. He's not managed to let him get away too easy there on the number 23. Ronald Harris, in the 66 bike. He's still third place, and Stephen Brooks in fourth on the number 40 as they go round for the first lap.
The positive thing is, although it was a slow start from Ronnie Harris, it was a much better start than last time. So he has got an opportunity still to keep with these 2 up front. And already it looks as though Rhys Stevenson has got the confidence of knowing that the rain might be coming. So he's already starting to get quite close to Thomas Gomez. Ronnie Harris still there in third, Stephen Brooks still there in fourth. We're keeping an eye on the skies, as is every other rider in the paddock. They want to figure out if they're going to need to make a quick switch to rain tyres or onto at least cut slicks. I'd get those wets ready, though, because those clouds are coming over pretty sharpish.
Yeah, I can look behind in the paddock and I can see tyres coming out of vans left, right and centre, and most of them are cut slicks and wet, so we'll have to see what goes on to the bikes in the next few laps. But Thomas Gomez still flying ahead. He's got the best time of a 42.76. He is the fastest man on the circuit at the moment, and that was his last lap, was his fastest, so there he is on the screen as well. And again, just proving how smooth and controlled he is off that bike. He is just flying around. There's the 23, again another rider who's very smooth and calm. 41.79 from Rhys Stevenson there in second place, with Gomez setting a 41 dead out there as they go on to lap 2. But these guys really close racing still, but I just want to see what it gets to the end.
Yeah, so far so good from Rhys Stevenson. He's put in a good couple of laps to start the race off, and he's in good pace. A 41.79 is a pretty good position to be in the early stages. You just want to maximise what the bike is giving you. If the rain should start to come, then he's going to have a massive advantage over Thomas Gomez, just based on the fact that these bikes handle the wet weather conditions a lot better and with a lot more versatility than the Metro kits do. A 40.87 for Thomas Gomez, a 41.87 for Rhys Stevenson. So there's a second difference between them in the drive. That's about normal, really, but we still don't really know what the weather is going to do. As it stands at the moment, though, Thomas Gomez doing a fantastic job. That's Ronnie Harris we're watching in third position. it is worth keeping an eye on this class. Okay, we don't have a lot of bikes here this weekend, but as we move forward, there is going to be a great opportunity for youngsters to get into this category over the course of the season, as we have an amazing opportunity from Misano Moto, who are basically donating a KOGP chassis, a KOGP bike to the championship, so that there's an invitational entry effectively for every round of the championship from next time out at Teesside, and it's by invitation only. A rider that's been particularly impressive basically is given a free entry for the weekend to go out there and show what they can do and impress the people trackside. So we're very grateful indeed to Misano Moto for offering that opportunity of giving a KOGP bike to the championship, effectively to basically give an invitational entry out. For those who are interested and wanting to have a look at it and see, well, maybe I can get that invitational entry, head to the website, BritishMinibikes.com, get in touch with Alan Lord and everybody involved, and hopefully it could be one of you guys watching on the stream at home who could be in this very field.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a great opportunity. And I say, if I was very young, if I was very young and 8 years old, I'd be jumping at that opportunity. Yeah. But unfortunately, not. No, I missed my time. But Thomas Gomez, still your race leader, best time of a 40.69. Went a second slower that last lap, 41.04 versus Rhys Stevenson's 41.95. So do you reckon there is some rain in the air that they're noticing that we haven't?
It's possible. It's definitely potential. It's certainly if the wind has picked up, then that could obviously cause a little bit of an issue. But that skyline is definitely looking like there's rain coming over. It might just be, just taking it easy. You've put in some fast laps. The order is as it is. There's 6 laps to go. There's no reason really to push too hard. Otherwise, you've the potential of breaking the bike, of pushing too hard, of going down, of injuring yourself. Once you're in a position, you just want to keep it nice and tidy. A 40.69 is unlikely to be beaten even by Thomas Gomez.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad lap. And I think they just want to get themselves into their rhythm. But all of the riders are now watching the skies like a hawk in the potential possibility that rain is coming. But I can see some spots of rain on the commentary box. So here we go. It is coming in, and it's going to be pretty heavy when it gets here.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. I'm not sure how much we're going to get, but of course, like you say, these riders are capable of going out these on slick tyres. We saw it earlier. We saw it on Saturday. The track was soaking. Rain was pouring, and I saw slicks out there, and I thought, that man's insane. But no, they were doing it, so we can see it. But we're still currently looking at your 23 rider, Rhys Stevenson, here on the screen. Now his last lap was a 42.99, and then there's 44 and 44 again, seconds from the other two, and 41 from Gomez.
Oh, here we go, here we go.
The rain's really coming down now.
This is it, this is the shower we were waiting for. The rain is properly coming down now, so it could be a bit tricky for these guys at the closing stages of the race. What it means, though, is that there's now going to be frantic activity down in the pit lane and in the paddock to get these bikes' tyres changed onto wets. Some of them may opt to keep on the slicks or just change to cut slicks, because the rain is not torrential yet, but it's definitely getting heavy. So I'm not sure it's going to need to be full wets until the race after the next one, potentially. So we may see quite a few riders going for cut slicks. But look, let's look at the riders out there as they struggle with the conditions. So far, Rhys Stevenson's actually managing it quite well, although his pace has dropped significantly to a 44.7. Thomas Gomez has dropped to a 41.26, but this lap is much, much slower than he has gone before. Just watch him as he comes through onto the main straight. We're watching him out of the commentary box. You on the live stream are watching Ronnie Harris. We're trying to keep an eye on the leader. Look, the pace has come right down.
Yeah.
It's right down. Thomas Gomez
last lap, 52 seconds. Last lap of 52 seconds by Gomez. So conditions really struggling out there now, as it looks like one of the riders has gone down.
Oh, that's
one
Stephen
of the riders
Brooks.
has gone
Stephen
down.
Brooks has gone down. Stephen Brooks has gone down in the wet. But we need to watch the lead, because Rhys Stevenson's about to overtake Thomas Gomez for the lead of the race. So through goes Rhys Stevenson. He takes Thomas Gomez. As I said, the junior super mini bike is much more versatile in the wet conditions. Gomez just doesn't have the grip to be able to handle with the wet conditions the same way Rhys Stevenson does, and he's having to be very gentle with the bike.
Yeah.
Brooks unfortunately has gone down, but Rhys Stevenson has taken the lead based on the fact that the junior super mini is a much stronger bike in these conditions than Thomas Gomez. And Gomez shaking his head. He knows the win is gone. There's no chance.
You can see the rain on the camera now. You can see the rain really coming down now, and he just can't put the power on. He's shaking his hands. He's incredibly frustrated. Of course, he's on the slicks. The bike's just not set up for it, and he's really had to pull back now. But you can see Rhys Stevenson. He's just flying ahead now with his last lap of a 46, and Thomas Gomez's last lap of a 103. I'm not sure if he's got a mechanical failure or if it is purely the rain that's causing that.
No, that's the fact that he's on pure slicks, and the bike, you just don't want to push these bikes when you're on slicks. You just look, there's such a wobble. There's such a wobble. He knows. The thing is, he does multiple championships over the course of a year, Thomas Gomez. He knows that if he pushes it and tries to get a relatively decent lap and he goes down, he could break a collarbone, he could break an ankle, he could break a shin. That could be, 2 months, 3 months out of your season. There's no point at this particular stage of just gunning it and seeing what happens, especially if you're on slick tyres on a Metro Kit bike. There's no point at all. We're on the last lap. Rhys Stevenson is going to romp away to the victory. Thomas Gomez is going to settle for second place. Ronnie Harris isn't even going to catch him for second place because he's got exactly the same problem. It's wet tyres, it's wet tyre conditions, but they're both on slicks on a Metro Kit bike. There's just no grip. It must be like balancing on a tightrope, blindfolded at the moment. There's just no grip at all for the bike. He's having to put his foot down on the floor to get the bike stopped, but Rhys Stevenson is coming home to the victory.
Yeah, he is. So obviously really controlled in these weather conditions. Massive shame to Thomas Gomez after a fantastic first race. But there's the checkered flag, goes out to Rhys Stevenson on the number 23 bike. But of course, massive shame to Thomas Gomez there for really struggling to get the power down on the bike. And of course, we saw the Steve Brooks, the number 40 bike, have a crash in this one as well due to the conditions where, again, just wasn't got down to the to that there. But you're looking at Thomas Gomez on your screen now. Still hasn't come around to take checkered yet. But again, still shaking his head in frustration, knowing that, we thought this rain was coming, but it didn't put anything to it.
Well, the thing is, he had the win. He had pulled the gap. He was dominant in that race, and he had an amazing advantage over Rhys Stevenson. He'd done the hard work, but the second the rain came down, the second it started falling, at that point that you're not going to get a decent result. You know that if you're on slick tyres, in the wet, on a Metro Kit, you're not going to be able to push it hard. So Thomas Gomez, he gets a win in a second. It's a good result, because obviously that's the same that Rhys Stevenson has had, but fair play to Thomas Gomez for keeping it out there and bringing the bike home. Another rider might have just gone, do you know what, I'm not risking it, I'm not finishing this race. He's actually brought it home, and got it to the finish. I mean, okay, he's a minute behind Rhys Stevenson, but, he's proven a 40.69. He was faster than Rhys Stevenson over 1 lap. Ronnie Harris finishes the race now as well. But what it means now is for the rest of the day, it's either cut slicks or full wets.